Greetings, my friends. Sit ye down, and hear tales of the past, told by the ancient flame. There are many tellings of these stories. This one's mine. Pandora's Box. Before we speak of Pandora, I would advise you hear the creation of mankind and the brothers Prometheus and Epimetheus. It can be found below. The world was young, and it was in this fragile moment, when mortals had dared reach beyond their place, that Zeus, king of the gods, conceived a plan. A counterstrike, not against Prometheus alone, for his punishment was being endured, but against all of humankind that he had so lovingly made. The king of Olympus, ever patient, spoke with the other gods in the quiet of the heavenly halls. Prometheus has given fire to mortals, he said, voice echoing like thunder over the peaks. They now taste power, yet they are still flawed, weak, blind to the ways of the gods. Let us give them a gift, a beauty and a peril intertwined, that they may know of the cost of their arrogance. And so their plan was set. A being would be made, perfect and flawless, yet crafted to bring both wonder and sorrow into the lives of men. Not a punishment cast in chains or in wrath, but a quiet, irresistible, inevitable force. A mortal woman born of earth and water, shaped with the hands of the divine, whose very existence would challenge the world she entered. At Zeus's command, Hephaestus, master of the forge and of fire, took clay and water from the fertile earth and shaped it with care. Hands that crafted swords and shields for the gods and chains for the titans now moulded something much more delicate, but also terrible in its beauty, a woman. Each curve, each line, each motion of her form was perfected, so that no mortal or god could gaze on her without awe. Once the figure stood, complete though lifeless, the gods began their work. One by one, they bestowed gifts upon her, each divine endowment adding to her allure, her power, and the subtle peril she carried. Aphrodite touched her brow and lips, granting her beauty that could charm even the most steadfast of hearts. Athena taught her the crafts of grace and wisdom, weaving skill and cunning into her hands and mind. Hermes, fleet of foot and cunning of thought, whispered into her ears the arts of persuasion, cunning, and restless curiosity, the one thing that would truly be the downfall of her and of mortal kind. Hera, queen of the heavens, gifted her with emotional depth, pride, desire, and the endless questioning that, when added with Hermes' restless curiosity, would drive the mortals to naught but suffering. And finally, Zeus himself gave her a sealed jar, polished and mysterious, and with it a sacred warning: never to open it. The jar would be her silent companion, a vessel of secrets whose contents were not for mortal eyes. When at last all was done, the gods stepped back and looked upon their creation. She was flawless, radiant, irresistible, and yet beneath her perfection lay the seed of fate, the quiet instrument of destiny that would soon reshape the lives of all man. Thus Pandora was complete, radiant and gifted, a creature of both wonder and quiet danger. her beauty irresistible, her mind clever, her curiosity far too alive, like a spark in the dark. The gods whispered amongst themselves, satisfied. This woman was ready to enter the world, a bridge between divine design and mortal folly. Zeus turned to the mortal realm. Epimetheus, brother of Prometheus, lived among men, proud of his crafts and ever forgetful of caution. To him Zeus would send Pandora, a gift for all his hard work, and a wedding present, the jar. It seemed so inconsequential. Prometheus had warned his brother, "Take no gifts from the king of Olympus. They always carry more than they seem." Yet Epimetheus, seeing Pandora, could not resist. Her beauty, her grace, the quiet curiosity in her gaze, it was irresistible. And so he took her as his own, bringing her into the lives of men, unaware that the jar that had come as part of the gift, and that she always carried, held the power to change the world forever. Pandora lived amongst mortals now, walking in the sunlight and feeling the earth beneath her feet. She spoke with man and with woman, laughed with children, and learned the ways of human life. Yet ever the jar remained by her side. It was not heavy, yet it carried a weight that could be felt in the heart, a silent promise, a secret whisper she could not forget. Days passed, and curiosity, like a quiet ember, began to grow within her. She wondered what could lie hidden within the sealed vessel. What treasure had Zeus placed there? What beauty, what knowledge, what power? The gods had warned her, yet the very gifts they had given her, her cleverness, her cunning, her relentless mind, urged her to see, to know, to understand. At last, one quiet moment, when no mortal eyes were upon her, Pandora's fingers brushed the seal. Her heart raced, her breath caught in her throat, and with trembling hands, she lifted the lid. In that instant, the air itself seemed to shudder. From the jar, all manner of miseries poured forth, disease that would affect the body, sorrow that would weigh on the heart, strife that would fracture friendships and kinships, old age that gnawed at strength, madness that clouded thought, envy and greed that festered in secret corners of the soul. They scattered out across earth like a storm of shadow, filling the world with suffering. Mortals cried out in anguish, their forests shriveled, the rivers seemed to groan beneath the weight of this new pain. And Pandora, aghast, slammed the lid back in desperation. Yet, in the bottom of the jar, untouched, remained one last thing, one last spirit. Elpis, the spirit of hope. Though fear and sorrow now walked freely amongst men, hope lingered quiet and subtle, a spark that might guide them through the darkness. Pandora heard hope pleading from the jar to be released, and though she could not tell whether it was a gift or a trick, she did release it into the world. A watery sun came out, and hope settled in the hearts of mortals, giving them the strength to endure what had been unleashed. So it was that man and woman inherited both the weight of suffering and the small, bright spirit of hope. The gods' design was complete. Prometheus punished, humanity tested and constantly enduring, and the world forever changed by a woman whose gifts were greater than she would ever know, and whose curiosity, like fire, would never be quenched. When the jar was closed, the world was no longer the same. Man and woman awoke to toil, to sickness, to grief, and to countless struggles that marked mortal lives. Fields demanded sweat, families endured loss, and the hearts bore the sting of jealousy and of sorrow. Every corner of earth whispered with the unleashed miseries, a reminder that the gods' will had been carried into the lives of humankind. Yet amongst all the shadow, there always remained hope. Though invisible, subtle as a breeze through the trees, it gave mortals the strength to rise each morning, to endure labour, to love despite grief, to grieve despite love, and to seek understanding even when the world seemed cruel. The flame of hope did not remove suffering, but it allowed humanity to persist. Without it, life would have been swallowed entirely by despair. From his throne on Olympus, Zeus watched the unfolding of his design. Prometheus remained chained, his punishment unbroken. Humanity, once bold with stolen fire and unchecked power, now carried the weight of mortality and the lessons of limitation. The king of the gods' anger and cunning had reached its goal, not through brute force alone, but through the quiet inevitability of fate, delivered by Pandora, the vessel of gifts and burdens alike. The mortals did not know the full measure of what had happened, but the world had learned a lesson whispered in every shadow, every hardship, and every act of courage. Life is entwined with suffering, yet even in the darkest of moments, hope always endures. And with that, my friends, I grow weary, and so bid you good night.